Ever have those moments, where you totally crush a job interview, nail every question they throw at you,
Hmm.
and then bam, they hit you with the dreaded, "So, do you have any questions for US?"
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
And suddenly, your mind goes blank.
It's like all the insightful questions you thought you had just evaporate into thin air, right?
You're the worst. But you know what? That's exactly what we're diving into today.
I
We're
like it.
talking about how to totally rock the Q&A section at the end of your interview. Honestly, those last few minutes can make or break your chances.
They absolutely can.
And to help us break it all down, we're looking at this super helpful YouTube video from Life Work Balance.
Oh, I've seen their stuff. Yeah,
They have some really good advice on nailing those final interview moments.
definitely.
One of the biggest takeaways, saying no when they ask if you have questions, it's like shooting yourself in the foot.
It really is. It makes you seem unprepared, almost disinterested.
Yeah.
Like you haven't really thought about the job or the company all that much.
It's like fumbling the ball right before crossing the finish line.
The worst.
The absolute worst. So how do we avoid that? Well, this video breaks it down into a really neat strategy, having 3 different types of questions prepped and ready to go.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
They call them culture questions, role-specific questions, and then, get this, hesitation questions.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these 3 types.
Okay, so having those different categories, it's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if some of your questions are naturally answered during the interview, you've got backup.
You're prepared for anything. I like it.
Exactly. You're showing them you came prepared with a game plan. So let's break down each type. Let's start with culture questions.
Okay, culture questions. Let's do it. What are we talking about here?
So these are your chance to dig a little deeper, get a feel for the company culture.
Right, get beyond the surface.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, is it a collaborative environment, fast-paced? What's it really like to work there day to day? You're not just reading their About Us page on their website.
Exactly. You want the inside scoop, right?
Exactly. And the video even gives a great example. What's your favorite part about working here?
I like that one.
It's simple, but effective.
It gets people talking about their personal experiences, not just the company line.
Exactly. And it shows you're interested in your potential future colleagues.
It's like you're already picturing yourself being part of the team.
Yes. Okay, they also mention asking about the biggest challenges or opportunities facing the organization. What do you think about that one?
I think that's a really smart question because it shows you're thinking long term. You're not just focused on the job description. You're thinking about the company's future.
And how you might fit into that bigger picture.
Exactly.
It's subtle, but powerful because you're demonstrating that you're invested in their success.
Yeah, you're not just looking for any job, you're looking to contribute.
Okay, so that's culture questions. What about role-specific questions? How are those different?
So, with role-specific questions, this is where you really want to show them you've done your homework. You understand the specific demands of the role.
So less about the company culture itself and more about the day-to-day of the job itself.
Exactly. You're going beyond the bullet points on the job description.
And they actually give a couple great examples here, like asking, what does a typical week in this role look like? Seems simple, right? But it tells you so much more than just those bullet points on the job posting.
Totally. It shows you're really picturing yourself doing the job,
Mhm.
getting a sense of the rhythm of the work, the types of projects, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the video also talks about asking about potential challenges, like what challenges do you see this position facing in the coming months, I think they said.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
Because it shows you're not just thinking about the job as it is right now, you're already anticipating future hurdles
Mm-hmm.
and, showing you're ready to tackle them.
Yeah, it's that forward thinking. Okay, so we've covered culture questions, role-specific questions, and now for the grand finale, it's time for what the video calls hesitation questions.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I'll admit, those sound a little, I don't know, intimidating maybe.
They do, right? A
Sure.
little bit. Which is probably why most people don't ask them.
Right.
But honestly, that's also what makes them so effective. Think of it as like a preemptive strike
Oh, okay.
against any doubts the interviewer might have about you.
So you're not waiting for them to potentially throw you a curveball.
Exactly.
You're stepping up to the plate and addressing any, I don't know, any elephants in the room head on.
I like how you think.
Bold move, bold move. But so what kind of questions are we talking about here? Give me some examples.
Okay, so one example from the video is, and I quote, "Based on our conversation, is there anything that makes you hesitant about my fit for this position?"
Wow. Okay. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
I can see why that takes some guts, but you know what? It also shows a certain level of self-awareness, wouldn't you say?
Totally. Confidence, too.
Confidence.
Because most candidates are trying to, I don't know, smooth over any potential weaknesses, but by directly addressing them, you're showing you're not afraid of feedback.
It flips the script.
Exactly.
Instead of hoping they don't notice something, you're showing them you're already thinking about it.
And that you're one step ahead.
Yes. The video also mentions asking, like, how you compare to other candidates they might be considering.
Yeah.
That feels a little risky to me. I don't know, but I can see how it could work in your favor if you're confident.
You have to be confident to pull that one off.
Right.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart. But it shows, you're not just there to get a job offer. You want to be the best person for the job.
Be the best, yeah.
And that kind of boldness, it makes you memorable.
That's so true. Okay, so maybe you're not quite ready to, channel your inner shark and ask how you stack up against the competition. That's all right. There are other, maybe slightly less intense hesitation questions you can try.
Sure.
What was that last example from the video?
Oh, it's a classic, but people often overlook it. Is there anything I can clarify for you?
See, now at first glance, that one just seems almost too simple.
Right.
How does that fall under hesitation questions?
Well, it's all about demonstrating that you're thorough, detail-oriented. You're not just assuming that they understood everything you said perfectly. You're giving them another chance to probe deeper.
Oh, to ask follow-up questions, clear up any confusion.
Exactly.
It shows you're truly invested in making sure you're both on the same page.
100%.
I love that. Now, as we're talking about these different types of questions, the culture, the role-specific, the hesitation questions, I'm noticing a common thread here.
Yeah, what's that?
It's not enough to just have these questions memorized, right? Like, it's not a script.
Oh, absolutely not. The video makes that very clear. Your questions
Yeah.
should reflect real, genuine curiosity
Yeah.
and a deep understanding of the company and the role.
So none of those generic questions that, you could easily find the answer to with a quick Google search. right?
Exactly. Like, what does your company do? Or how many employees do you have? Come on, that just screams like you didn't even bother to do the bare minimum.
It's like showing up to a potluck with a bag of chips that you grabbed from the gas station on the way there.
The worst.
You're not wrong, but you're not winning any points for effort.
Exactly.
So how do you strike that balance then between asking insightful questions but avoiding anything that screams, I didn't even bother to even glance at your website?
Right.
It's all about framing and intention.
Right. Right.
You can take even a basic question like, what are the company's values?
Yeah.
But elevate it by connecting it to something you learned in your research.
Oh, I like that.
So instead of just, what are your values? It's, hey, I read on your website that one of your core values is innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what that looks like in practice? Like, maybe give me an example of a recent project that really embodied that value.
Now you're not just asking for a list of words.
Right.
You're showing that you took the time to actually learn about their culture and you're really thinking about it.
You get it.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up here,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway you want our listener to walk away with today?
It really boils down to this. Acing the end of your interview, it's not just about, checking a box. It's not about asking a question just to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
You're demonstrating that you're not just looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for the right opportunity.
Yes.
Where you can really thrive.
I love that. It's about showing them you're not just there to collect a paycheck. You want to contribute. You want to be a part of something bigger.
Exactly. And by asking these insightful, well-researched questions, you're showing them, hey, I've got the curiosity, I've got the strategic thinking,
Yeah.
and I've got the passion to really make an impact here.
It's like choosing the perfect closing argument.
Oh, I like it.
You want to leave them with this really powerful final impression that lingers long after the interview's over.
Absolutely. This whole deep dive is about giving you the tools and the confidence to walk into that interview and just own it.
Yeah.
From the first handshake
Mm-hmm.
to that final perfectly crafted question.
So to our listener out there who's prepping for that big interview, remember, those last few minutes, that's your chance to turn a good interview into an unforgettable one.
Don't waste it.